Hello campers, it's Mario again, and back for part, I don't know, 87 at this point, I don't know, of adventures in flooding in your backyard. It's probably been like 2 weeks since I made like an update, and things were kind of progressing well. And I use the word kind of loosely. So I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see where we are, just to give a little background. So this has been going on for months. Had the township out here, in case you haven't seen my other videos, had the township out here. The superintendent of public works, the township engineer, the foreman from the school. Let me just flip around so you can see the little tykes running around. The school immediately behind my house. Their property backs up to mine. And they have at this point, probably 4 years now, because I've lived here 3 years, and they finished this thing right around when I moved in. So I'll say 3 years, 3.5 years. A brand new artificial field with built-in underground drainage. I still think they're contributing to this, but I digress. So I've had flooding since basically the end of the winter, but it was too friggin' cold to come back here and wade through 2 feet of water, so I had to wait till the weather warmed up to finally get back here. So I'll put links in the description. You can look at the other videos, but basically it's the same crap. And I use the word crap loosely because that's what it smells like someone hasn't cleaned a toilet in years. So let me flip the camera around so you can see. All right, here we go. So this is the jacked up setup I have going right now. And you can see my privacy fence. So basically from the fence 15 feet out is a easement. It's my property, I own it, but I am not permitted to build anything permanent, no permanent structures on it, because there's actually, and my thinking is right under that, probably a couple feet off of my fence, there is a storm drain system underground that runs way that way. You can't see it, the trees and bushes are in the way. But there's an underground storm drain that connects to the main road at the end of the property line here, the street, underground, and runs all the way down that way. And you can look in the other videos, I actually took a walk so you could see. But there's a drain grate in the ground. Oh, down by that second big tree in the far picture, there's a grate that's in the ground that you can see that I have this tubing, this sump pump tubing, actually sits right in and is dumping all the water into. That's the only access in the entire system besides the storm drains in the street all the way down. So all of my neighbors, I have it the worst, of course. And I also have 2 young children, and their playground, as you can see, sits right there. And you can see that the water has, for the most part, before I pumped it out, there was a lake right up inside my fence where my kids couldn't play on their playground, and still can't, because that ground that you saw, that wet ground, is actually super saturated. So the second you step on it, you sink 6 inches into the ground. So what I did was I put a temporary sump pit with a Zoller pump, and I've been pumping this crap out constantly. The problem, it keeps raining, which is a problem because it just refills what I pump out. What I'm attempting to do is to, let me flip this around. What I'm attempting to do is pump out a majority of the surface water. Problem is there's so much water in the ground that as I pump it out, it just seeps up. So it doesn't look like I'm making any headway, but I think I am. But I have no way to tell, because like I said, the water level doesn't really drop. I actually had a little issue with the inch and a quarter, I think it's inch and a quarter, corrugated tubing that's connected to the end right there of the PVC actually ruptured. Had a couple 2 cracks in it that the water was just spraying everywhere. It wasn't making it down to the drain. So I just replaced that today, and the pump hasn't turned off yet. And I've been running it for 25 minutes. hasn't shut off. That's how much water is draining into the sump pit, and the pump is just constantly running. I also have, I don't know if you can see it. I don't want to like sink and die in this stuff here, but I actually have a small sump pump. You can see the garden hose. There's a little sinkhole right smack under my fence there. So I put my pool sump pump in there, and I'm running it into the pit because that was empty, but like I said, because of all the water, and I had to shut the sump pump off because of the rip, probably like yesterday, I believe I had to shut it off. So I went a whole day without pumping any water, and it filled up. You can see all back here. Yeah, more fun over there. Some more fun. That's what I like to call this. This is fun time. This is what I like to do on my days off, because I don't have anything better to do, like school or go food shopping. You know that stuff doesn't matter. So this is right here. You can see where my fence and then my neighbor's fence. This is the property line. However, as we keep going, you can see this is all behind his yard. All this muck crap back here, more of this, and it goes all the way down there. But again, I'm the lowest point, so it's pooling behind my property. So now I gotta worry about mosquitoes. I gotta worry about sinkholes, because that's a legitimate concern. And the smell, because it smells like ass. Excuse my French. Plus, it's causing issues inside my usable yard. You know, my kids can't play on their playground. So, what do we do? This solution that I came up with that I just showed you is completely temporary, and it's not actually making a huge dent. I have a feeling it may be, but like I said, there's no way to tell. And I can't run this setup forever. It's just not realistic. I have extension cords hanging off my fence. I got hose everywhere. It's just not working. So, here's my plan. One other thing I wanted to point out. Let me flip this around so you can see. I don't know if you can see. See that sheen on top of the water there? There's some over here. I'm going to walk down the other end because I still need to call the town back, because they were supposed to keep an eye on this, which I know they haven't, but you know, who expects township officials to do what they actually say they're going to do? Here we go. You see that rainbow haze? That, my friends, is petroleum product. That's what happens when petroleum mixes with water. The petroleum products rise to the surface, float on the top, and because the viscosity is different than water, it makes light bounce off it differently. So not water, it goes right through it. It makes the light change direction, so you get that rainbowy haze. So, on top of all that, there's something, and this is where I tend to believe that all of this water is not groundwater from rain. My belief is this is being fed, and I think there's a crack in the pipe that runs under the properties that go all the way down, because there's no way that there should be petroleum product on groundwater. There's no gas stations above us. I'll show you. No gas pumps. No gas pumps. It's a backyard. There's no gas stations in the backyard. So, we're going to call them and have them come back out and say, can you explain why I'm seeing petroleum product in this water now? And if you tell me anything other than a plausible reason where it could come from, I'm going to be not nice anymore. See, I follow the Roadhouse rules of interpersonal communication. Be nice until it's time to not be nice. We're getting to the not be nice time. I haven't attended a town meeting in my town since I've moved here. For good reason, because my wife will tell you. It will probably end badly for me, possibly. I have a big mouth, and I really don't have a filter. But this is starting to piss me off. because I'm spending all of my free time and money because I called my insurance company and they don't cover this. So everything I have to shell out of my pocket is out of my pocket. Although I'm sure there's a workaround for taxes. I'll find a way to write this off because I'm not going to sink because of this crap. I use the word crap again. So yeah, there's something in the water coming out of here, and I don't know what the hell it is, but yeah. So that's where we are at. I'm probably gonna have to take a water sample and send it off and have it tested, because that's going to be the next thing that they're going to say. Wow, we can't all right, just take a couple samples and send it off to some independent laboratory and get the results back so they can tell me what's in the water, so that I can turn around and say, well, there's petroleum product in my water, and now you need to tell me where you think that's coming from in the backyard. That's really far from where my house is. I don't have an oil tank. I have natural gas for my heating. So I don't know where they're gonna. I'm sure they're gonna try, but I don't know where they're gonna come up with that one. But so that's kind of where we're at now. My plan, because if I wait for them to do something, I'll be dead. I will literally be like 100 years old and dead before this township actually does anything it should. So here's my plan. I've researched, and I'm going to rent a mini excavator, which is surprisingly inexpensive to rent for a day. $200. There's a place by me. I live in Springfield, New Jersey, which is in Union County, in case you wonder. A place called Astro Rents on Route 22 in Plainfield, or North Plainfield, I don't know. Really, really good place. I actually, when this first happened, I rented a pump from them. 250 feet of 2-inch fire hose. I was pumping water out to the street before I realized there was a grate down there. They actually rent a mini excavator for $200 a day. $35 for the trailer rental. Sold. So my plan is to do this. We are going to not drive this mini excavator through my backyard. There's actually a path around the back of the school here because it's a mini excavator with a 29-inch wide base, track base, from side to side. I can actually drive it down the back of this path by the school, and right over in that area there, I'm gonna have to put some like 3/4-inch plywood down, because the ground it's sopping wet, but it's not like surface water. But if I could put a couple sheets of 3/4-inch plywood just to make sure the excavator doesn't sink down and then I can't move it. So my plan, because this is so muddy, it's impossible to shovel it. There's some roots under here too and I was gonna do it with a trencher, but the trencher is so heavy, it would just sink and it wouldn't actually trench out. So what I'm going to have to do is use an excavator to literally dig a giant trench. I would normally just dig a couple inches wide trench and have to dig probably about a foot down, but I can't. So I'm going to use whatever the width of the excavator's claw is and dig a trench all the way down here, all the way down to the other end of the fence. And then I'm going to, because where the pump is now is pretty much the falling over. Pretty much the deepest part. So I'll put a sump pit, and then run PVC back down the other way, and then have to dig up part of my neighbor's yard, which I'm sure he'll be okay with. I'm gonna put drainage down there as well and pump it out to the pit. So hang on a second, we got the grounds guys here. Let's talk to them.